Hi, this is Angel Diaz Maroto. Welcome to the part 2 of the audio guide How to Lead an Agile Transformation. This time we are going to talk about the second critical conversation that we need to ensure it happens as leaders. Remember that as leaders, we want to create influence in the system. The first conversation was about purpose, understanding what do we want to achieve and what for do we want to achieve it. Once that is clear, we need to dig deeper on building a bridge between the leader and the system. And this is through context. We're going to build a bridge through the agreement on a context. Well, let's start off talking about one of the most frequent questions that have been asked during my 14 years doing this profession, which is, how can I convince my boss, my colleagues, the detractors? How can I convince others? Well, actually, this is a normal question. It's common that we need to get others to do what we think is right, because we are completely sure this is the right way to go. Well, in my experience, this is not a good idea, because what if not? What if we are not so right as I think? And also, if we are just convincing people, we for sure are not taking into account the considerations that are in their minds and not in ours. So maybe we might be missing some important information. On the other side, if we convince people, we rarely get them committed to what we are convinced, because we just kind of get them into buying our purpose and our idea, but not really committing and participating, because they didn't co-create this purpose with us. They just has been convinced. As when you buy a product in the mall just because you have a very good salesman, not because you really wanted that product and decided to make it part of your life. I would suggest what, in my opinion, is a much better alternative, which is turning my purpose into our purpose. So get other people deciding and co-creating a purpose. And before learning how to do this, I will offer you two important distinctions, two important rules, and two main responsibilities that as leaders we have to keep in mind when turning my purpose into our purpose. The first one is the difference between phenomenon and explanation. We're going to call phenomenon to something that belongs to the world of facts, observable and tangible facts that we all can agree on. On the other side, explanation is a subjective interpretation of the phenomenon. Therefore, we will have several explanations to the same phenomenon. In practice, this means that we might agree on the fact that the market is accelerating and the customers and changing opinion and changing needs more frequently than in the past. But different people would have different explanation to this phenomenon and different solutions to this phenomenon. In practice, we're going to keep our attention on describing phenomena and understanding explanations, as each person will have different explanation of the same phenomena. As the motivation in the context conversation is find agreements, understand what do we agree on, and from there start to build the bridge between the leader and the system. It's very important that we understand phenomena and therefore find those agreements, find what we agree on before building the future together. The second distinction is about what kind of energy are we going to bring to this conversation. Do we want to win or do we want to build? Because if you want to win, it's much better if you get some strong arguments so you can destroy your enemies. And if you want to build instead and co-create, and from there have more momentum, then bring another kind of energy. Don't try to be right. Try to be constructive by finding what do we agree on and building from there. There are also two important rules. The first one is understand the context. Don't be simplistic. There are many elements that describe the here and now. What is present? What is important? What do we want to take care of? What is the problem we are trying to solve? What are our struggles? So there are so many elements that we need to consider and we need to analyze beforehand having this conversation. Therefore, prepare yourself for a number of hours in a coffee machine conversations so that you will get more information about the context. I encourage you to be humble enough so that you can learn as much as possible about their perspective on the context. Of course, you will have your own perspective, but you already have that information. This is also very important so that people feel more respected. They will feel that their opinion is important, that they are being heard. If we make the mistake of not listening to people, it would be impossible to build trust. The second rule, or pre-work if you want, is to create and sustain a relationship motivated by contribution. This means that our true motivation for this leadership activity and relationship we're going to build with the system is to contribute and build the future we all want. In practice, ask for permission. Make yourself available. Ask for volunteers. Don't put yourself in the center of attention. Put the system in the center of attention. People need to feel that this is about them, because leadership is not about you, it's about your followers. Then we only have two big responsibilities in the conversation of context if we want to create influence. The first one is to make the breakdown visible. We need to agree on something that is important and we want to take care of, but we are not taking enough care of that. And then this is preventing us to get the future we want. The second responsibility is activate what is possible. Make the system aware that it's possible to eliminate this breakdown and therefore reach the future that we want. And yes, the future that we want, not the future that you wanted. Now we are ready for the intervention, and we can have this conversation to turn my purpose into our purpose. Therefore, the leader this time is going to create context. This is helping the system to build awareness and take care of something that is important here and now for us as a system to reach our desired future. And then this is the conversation on the shared future. As we said, we need to prepare by building the relationship. And this is ensuring that we are there to contribute. We are perceived as someone that is part of the system and is taking care of something, and this something is important for the system. We already heard the voices of the system by having conversation with the individuals so that we get more information about the context. And for sure, you need to ask for permission and for volunteers. You are there to contribute. The step one of the context conversation is to problematize the phenomenon. What is this? It's turning an agreed fact that we understood as a characteristic of the system and turning it into a solvable problem. And in this stage, we are just understanding the problem. Don't try to find solutions yet, or you will get into explanations, and you don't want that yet. You want awareness and agreement. And this is the second stage of the context conversation. Agree on what is important. Identifying the problem is not enough. You also need to agree that it's important to take care of it here and now. We are going to do this analyzing shared values. What is important for me that is also important for the system, and underlines those values, because those values will tell us what do we want to take care of and what is important. If something that is valuable for us is one of our values and we're not taking care of it, from there we can get into the third stage of this conversation, which is agreeing on the shared purpose. We need to decide what we need to take care of here and now. And from there into the fourth stage, declare the commitment. You decided it's important here and now. You have a breakdown and your values are not being respected. How committed you are. We need to declare this shared purpose from an unconditional commitment. It's not valid to be a victim and make others guilty. The management, the market, the detractors. We have plenty of reasons not to move forward. Let's ensure that we don't listen to those. Let's ensure that we take unconditional commitment. This will start nurturing the perfect mindset for successful actions. We're not yet talking about what are we going to do, but we are ensuring that people understand and connect on why are they going to do it. This opens the doors for actions, and those actions in the future will establish a new normal. So the older way of being is not accepted anymore because it wouldn't take care of something that is very important for us, and we decided and committed to it. What we're doing with this conversation is stop putting so much attention on practices, on what to do, and instead we're going to create a connection with human values that would be the engine for all further actions, because all the actions come from identity, and we are going to build identity with this conversation. This is creating context, is helping the system to build awareness and take care of something that is important here and now for them. To summarize, I will suggest an example. Let's say we work for a large bank and they decided to run an agile transformation. Before starting, we need to properly build the relationship with the sponsor of the initiative and the system that will be involved. You're going to learn how to do this in the next audio guide. And please never skip this step. Then start by building awareness on the purpose in yourself and the sponsor of the initiative. You have more information about how to do that in the part 1 of this guide. Then discover as much as possible about the context of the system. Gather as much information as possible about what is important here and now for the system in preparation for the context conversation, and schedule it. The sponsor might already have shared with you his explanation for the phenomenon. Maybe you also have it. For example, A fact is that we have a very bad reviews for our online banking application. The explanation from the sponsor is different than from the people, but we agreed on the phenomenon. Then explore what makes this opinion of our customers important for us, and if it's important enough for us to do something to take care of it. If it's not important enough, re-explore and find something that is important enough for us to take care of. Let's say, people decided that it's important to take care of our customers and get good reviews. Now we have a shared purpose, and we can continue with the same conversation that you learned in the part 1, but this time we are co-creating the purpose with the team. There we can get the participant to declare openly their commitment to this new future they are going to build together. This opened the right door for agility. They decided why it is important and why here and now. You will come later with possible options to get them succeeding in reaching this purpose that they agreed. Because Agile is not a purpose itself. Agile is a set of tools that, of course, will help us getting happier customers. At this stage, in our example of the bank, there is no Agile practice, but we prepare the proper connection to the values that would get them succeeding on becoming Agile. In my experience, if you skip this very important work, you will be implementing meaningless Agile practices, most probably not getting any results, and soon your teams will stop doing it because they didn't decide or understand why they are doing what they are doing. If you want to keep on learning about how to make Agile successful in your organization, stay tuned and see you in the next audio guide. Thank you for listening.